Welcome to the Pageantry PodCast.
And today's very special, and I mean very special, Pageantry Podcast guest. Calling in this evening, our Air Force Second Lieutenant and Miss America 2024, Madison Marsh. Madison, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You know, it has been a long time setting this up with your travel schedule, which is just amazing to me, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. So if you're ready to jump to our Q&A, I'm ready.
Perfect, good to go.
As an Air Force officer, what prompted you to pursue the title of Miss America?
One of the main things was really just working on my nonprofit. That's what I have my purple ribbon on here for. It's called the Whitney Marsh Foundation. I lost my mom in 2018 to pancreatic cancer, and I wanted an additional place to be able to talk about her story and what we do at my nonprofit. And pageants were a perfect place. So I did a lot of other systems before competing in Miss America, and then ended up my senior year of college finally being able to compete for a state pageant. And so I had the opportunity to go compete for Miss Colorado and then wound up here.
Looking back to here in Orlando, explain the sensation of standing center stage, waiting to hear the name called as Miss America 2024.
I mean, I would say a lot of my prep for Miss America was not really prep for stage. It was mostly just mental, in that the only thing that I wanted out of the week was to make friends and walk away with a good experience. The last thing that was on my mind was winning. That was not my intention going into the week, solely because that was something that was completely out of my control. And I only wanted to focus on things that I could control, which was having a good time, making memories, being there fully in the moment, and just kind of trying to relax the entire week. And so it was very shocking to be in those final two moments, just because that wasn't something that I had really thought was going to happen. I was already so happy that I had achieved the things that I had set out to do, which was having fun that week. And so just having that alone, I wasn't expecting to make top 10. I even told my family, please don't be upset when it doesn't happen. I just want to hang out and eat Taco Bell tonight because it's been an awesome week. And so it was really cool having the opportunity to do that. But at the same time, that just wasn't really where my mindset was at going into the week, which I think also helped me a lot to enjoy everything so much more.
We always promote Miss America as the largest scholarship provider for young women in the world. How much scholarship money have you earned through the Miss America opportunity?
70,000.
$70,000.
Mm-hmm.
And how will you or how have you used any of those funds to date?
So I haven't gotten to use any yet, and I'm not sure how I'm going to next year. It all depends on kind of the stipulations on how you're allowed to use the money. And so I would hope that I would get to use that for some of the money for my degree at Harvard, and hopefully getting to go back to some civilian flight school, but we'll have to see. That will be next year's feat and problem to look at. So
I have mentioned it to many, many people. You have got to be the hardest working Miss America in years combined. You've done a lot. Let's talk about some of your travels, starting at the beginning, right after your crowning, up until today.
Just anything?
Anything you wish.
I mean, I would say that the job is extremely demanding. I'm basically traveling all the time with not a lot of off time, and so it's definitely very taxing but rewarding. I've been, taken to places to talk about leadership, to talk about the military, meeting our next generation, getting to go to things like the Super Bowl, which was really cool because we actually didn't have tickets to the Super Bowl at all. And we were brought there to go to an event the night before called the Taste of the NFL, which Miss America goes to every year, to my knowledge. And I was just talking to people saying, yeah, like, we don't have tickets. I don't know, like, if we're going to be able to find a way in. And I'd actually met a former pageant girl. And when I was telling her this, she was like, I work for the NFL. I'll get you in. So it was really cool just having like those weird moments where things just work out unintentionally. And so it was really cool to get to do that, along with the very diverse different experiences that I have this year.
You've also had the opportunity to lay the wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier as well.
Yes.
And most recently, I know that you're also at the State of the Union, but what
Hmm.
really impressed me as Miss America is that you actually got to travel to the D-Day celebrations. How was that experience, knowing that you are an active duty military personnel?
Yeah, I mean, so that trip actually wasn't a Miss America trip. That was an Air Force trip, but it was really cool getting to go as a second lieutenant because that is such a rare opportunity, especially when looking at the heritage and legacy that was present that entire week. And so the Air Force brought me there on what's called a TDY. So it was an official work trip, and I got to go for a whole week. They brought me to go see Omaha Beach, got to go to the American Cemetery, some commemorative ceremonies to honor certain fallen members and groups. And it was just so cool because the first time that I had ever seen Normandy in the cemeteries was actually last year with my fiance, right after we commissioned into the Air Force's officers. That was one of the first places that we went and visited when we took a vacation overseas, and he said he really wanted to go to Normandy. And it was cool seeing how much I have changed in the past year and how that entire place and the values that it holds was unchanged. I was feeling the same things, looking at the headstones, seeing the American flags, getting to interact with the veterans, and why it is so important that we do serve and we do put on the uniform, and just being appreciative of the country that we get to have. I mean, just remembering what all of those people gave, having to see the video footage and pictures of D-Day was just so, it is so surreal to think that real people went and did that. They gave their lives for people that they didn't know, for countries that they didn't even wear on their uniform. And that is exactly what the United States stands for. And that is exactly why I am proud to be an American and proud to be a service member. So it was really wonderful that the Air Force brought me over there.
And I thank you for your continued service.
Oh, thank you.
You alluded that you don't have a lot of downtime. How do you manage the responsibilities of both your career in the Air Force as well as the demands of Miss America?
I owe it all to my Air Force team. I have really great people that are out of Texas, New York City, up at the Pentagon, and they are constantly working to ensure that I'm taken care of and really making sure that I'm being taken care of in a way that's going to exist far beyond this year. Because you're Miss America for 1 year. That is a short stint of your entire life. And they want to make sure that I'm doing things that are going to be building me in a way to be the best performing officer when I come out of this, ensuring that I'm going to be taken care of far past this year. So it's been really awesome interacting with people from all parts of the country, some people that have never even met in person, that are putting in so much of their free time to ensure that I'm okay. And that is exactly what the Air Force family stands for. And it's been awesome to have a front row seat to seeing what they're willing to do for me and how I'm going to have the opportunity when I go into a more conventional leadership role to see what I can do for my airmen. And so it's been really awesome watching them ensure that I'm able to juggle both of those roles properly. And I seriously owe it all to them because they've really been the backbone of my entire year.
Let's discuss your platform, the Whitney Marsh Foundation.
Hmm. So I started the Whitney Marsh Foundation in 2018. My mom was misdiagnosed for several years and ended up having pancreatic cancer. So she was really healthy, young, didn't have any of the risk factors, and we ended up finding out a little bit too late. And so she only lasted about 9 months from her diagnosis. And so I knew that I wanted to do something that would bring some light to a very dark topic and hopefully help other families navigate this truly nasty disease. It's the #3 cancer killer in the United States. We do have one of the highest mortality rates, and there is so much more that needs to be done, which is the entire point of this nonprofit. So we're primarily based out of Arkansas, but I work with a lot of people, up at the Capitol to ensure that certain policy regulations are being passed, trying to advocate on behalf of patients. My entire degree at Harvard is centered around public policy and also doing cancer research to ensure someone that understands the science and also understands what it's like firsthand to watch someone go through pancreatic cancer and some of the policy implications that we can have to maybe lessen the burden, to make things better for people all across the United States, not just out of Arkansas. And so that's a little bit about what we do, and that's what I intend to kind of dedicate my entire life to doing, post-military, post-Miss America. Just that is my biggest passion and what I feel called to do in my life.
And in addition to your personal platform, we have the Miss America Opportunity platform of the American Heart Association, Go Red for Women, that you do support as well, correct?
Yes, so that's actually a newer one for me. I have never worked with them before until I was crowned Miss America, and so they try to focus a lot on heart health, women's education surrounding the topic, and just telling people maybe some like healthy lifestyle choices that they can make. And I think that definitely overlaps with my nonprofit a lot and just cancer care in general. There's a lot that you can be doing with your lifestyle choices, whether that be what you put in your body, are you working out, your stress factors, maybe uncontrollable risk factors, and understanding all that holistically to ensure that your health is being taken care of to the best degree that you can. And so they focus a lot on that at the American Heart Association, and that's also something that we try to educate our patients and families about at the Whitney Marsh Foundation.
Kind of a fun topic. A lot of changes have come up within the last year that, we're not used to for the 101-year plus anniversary of Miss America. Not only are you the first active duty Miss America, but you're the first one that actually in public is engaged. What do you see
Yeah.
Miss America going in the future?
I just hope that no matter who it is, that they get to have a year that is authentic to them and they don't lose sight of their ability to make decisions for themselves. Because after all, this is a women empowerment organization, and it's not empowering to take away the decision making from women. And for me, a big part of that was my fiance is the most important person in my life. That is the biggest and greatest investment I will make for my entire life, because he is who I'm going to spend all of my time with. And so I knew that he had been planning this secret engagement for like over 6 months. And so he was going to do it whether or not I won Miss America. And so we knew after obviously I got engaged that there was no way I was going to hide this very important and special person and moment in my life, because just because he's someone that I share my life with and I'm with all the time, that doesn't make me any less of an independent woman. It doesn't take away from my capability to lead others, to be an example for other young women. And so I'm glad to get to stand here and say, I have my person that I get to lean on when times get tough, but that doesn't take away from my ability to be a second lieutenant. It doesn't take away from my ability to lead in other areas in my life. He's someone that enhances my life and makes it better. And I thought it would be unauthentic to me to hide that. And so that's not something that I'm going to do. I would never compromise my value for any sort of position or opportunity.
And congratulations once again. In many aspects, you are a groundbreaking Miss America.
Thank you.
What can women gain from competing in the Miss America opportunity?
I think there is a lot of opportunity when it comes to the practicing for public speaking. I would say that is most likely the most valuable aspect, especially from the local level, because of course there's only one Miss America every year. So there has to be something gained from the beginning levels of the organization. And just the fact that you're having to do pitches on stage, you're having to learn how to present yourself an interview, you're having to learn how to command an interview room to get your personality and the things that you care about across. And I think that translates really well into preparing for job interviews, getting ready for boardrooms when you're going to have to get up in front of a group of people and pose your ideas to them. And so I would say that's probably the most important and valuable part of the organization.
How can people follow your journey as Miss America?
I think the easiest way, I've got my personal account, so I do a lot of the BTS, and I also focus a lot on the Air Force side too. And so that's just my at Maddie Isabella, or you can go look at the Miss America site, which they run that and they do all the official communications, and that's just at Miss America. And you can find my personal LinkedIn as well.
Where can women who are interested in following your year of service, joining the Miss America opportunity, where can they learn more about the organization?
I think a good place would probably just be the website. So that's just missamerica.org. Or I think a really great place that obviously gives like the basics and the outline, but I would say to anyone considering competing, I would go reach out to local title holders, state title holders, and trying to find a Miss America to talk to about what it's really like, what the jobs actually entail, what to expect, because there's so much that a website or an information link just can't encapsulate. And I think talking to the source, the people that are doing this day in and day out, the women that are dedicating their year and their life to doing this job are going to be able to inform you probably best on what to expect.
Madison, is there anyone that you would like to recognize who has helped you on this journey to Miss America as well as Miss America 2024?
There are a lot of people that it would take me such a long time to thank, but definitely my entire family has always been so supportive of any journey that I've been on. Whether it had been going and flying planes at the age of 15 or going to the Air Force Academy or surprising all of them by wanting to compete in pageants, they have always been there. My fiance has been the biggest help, not only this year, but in everything that I've gone through for the past 5 years. He had helped me significantly, grieving with my mom, pushing myself through the Air Force Academy, being my support when days are rough. And so he's such an important person in my life. And then I've had so many amazing mentors as well, especially at the Air Force Academy. One of my favorite teachers that really was such a crucial piece in me continuing the academy. His name is Dr. Anderson. He was my very first physics teacher there, and he was the one that actually got me to go into the physics department as my undergraduate degree. And he just helped me in so many more ways that I can imagine. We still talk all the time. He's like a second dad and just an amazing, amazing man. And so it's people like that. I wouldn't have been able to do anything without them. I mean, anything that is on my resume was not done by me. It was done by the people that had poured into me and ensured that I was well enough to continue on and to push myself forward and feeling like I was always fully supported. So I owe everything to them. And of course, anyone else that I couldn't list because I'm sure I could go on for a long time.
And I'm sure they all appreciate it. And those that we could not get to, I know they know you have them in your heart and mind. And calling in today, I want to give a huge thank you to Air Force Second Lieutenant and Miss America 2024, Madison Marsh, for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit with us here at Pageantry Magazine. Madison, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It was awesome.